Welcome back to the channel. Almost every time before I start the video, I say, before we get into this video, I just want to say, but no, it's honest, it's true. I just want to say thank you. This thing it's growing every day. It's growing a little bit every day. I think all it takes is a little bit of consistency to keep the channel growing, and I just want to say thank you. Just like I do every time, and I'm going to continue to do every time as long as my channel is growing. So thank you for subscribing, thank you for helping me grow my channel, and thank you for all the positive comments. In today's video, I'm going to touch on a couple of different things that I feel are important for anyone, you know, kind of moving here to Southeast Asia. The first thing I want to talk about is loneliness. It's something that kind of gets to all of us at varying different degrees. It depends on, you know, the individual and their background. Another thing I want to talk about is longevity, planning for the future, and retirement. Because all of these things are kind of things that I'm dealing with now in my own life. Not so much the loneliness. I've been alone my whole life. And what I mean by that is, let me explain. When I was a teenager, I didn't have any guidance in my life. I didn't have any positive male role models. Okay, my mother worked too much, didn't spend enough time with me. Choose your cliche. But I was just, I was a bit to deal with when I was a teenager, because I haven't had any rules my entire life. I've never had any rules. I've never had a bedtime. I've never had a curfew. I've never had anyone to come and tell me to come in the house and do my homework, or eat my vegetables, or go to school, or any of those things. So I kind of just grew up off the chain a little bit. I did have supervision, like I wasn't unsupervised. I just didn't have anyone telling me what to do or to kind of stay on a schedule. And as I kind of took that into my teenage years, you know, I was never involved in any sports growing up. I wasn't on the prom committee. I wasn't on any of those things. You know, not soccer team, none of the captain of the sports. I wasn't none of that shit. And because of all the time I spent kind of doing whatever I wanted to do as a youth, that just led to problems. You know, that led to, you know, me being out in the street when I wasn't supposed to. That kind of led to, you know, me being influenced by the wrong kind of people. So I was a shithead, to say the least, when I was a teenager. So it was just me and my mom and my little brother. She couldn't handle me, so I was just able to pretty much go run and do whatever I wanted to do. All right, now that led to me being incarcerated from the age of 13 until my 19th birthday in the juvenile system in the state of Michigan and the state of Florida. I was incarcerated maybe 10 or 11 months out of every single year growing up, from the age of 13 until I was 19 years old. I'd get out for a month or two, then I would either stop reporting to probation, or I would, you know, break the law, or I'd get caught in a car full of people doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. This led to me being reincarcerated, and this happened every single year for about 6 or 7 years, like I said, until I was about 19 years old. This also led to a lot of homelessness. That just comes with the territory. Whenever you're out in the street, and listen, I was a teenager. I couldn't get a job. I mean, I could, but nobody's gonna rent you an apartment when you're 16 or 17, or even 18 for that matter. Nobody's gonna rent you an apartment. I can't get a loan from the bank. I can't even get a bank account, so I can't do any of those things. So I was basically just couch surfing from friend's house to friend's house to friend's house until I got old enough to where people just didn't want me crashing at their house anymore, and then I had to go live on the street. And what this taught me was to learn how to survive on my own. It taught me how to be resourceful, it taught me how to be independent, and it just taught me how to deal with people. Because I've been dealing with people on the street my entire life, from all walks of life. From the derelicts on the sidewalk all the way up to the multimillionaires living on Millionaire Row in Palm Beach, Florida. I've been in every single income class, you know, from all the way at the bottom all the way to the top. Okay, and a lot of you guys don't know me. A lot of you guys who watch me don't know my story. I was a multimillionaire in my early 20s. Early to mid 20s, I was liquid somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.5 to $4.2 million. Now, obviously, all that went away when I went to federal prison, and that is what it is. And if you want to see that story, okay, I tell my life story here on my channel. You can go and check that out if you want. But the reason I even tell that story, or even say any of that, is to say this. I've been alone my whole life. Being in all of those different facilities as a child, you know, you don't really bond. You don't really bond with people the way people in society are. You know, I missed all of the homecomings. I missed all of the school dances. I missed going roller skating with my friends on the weekend. I missed hanging out. All of those little milestones that kind of shape an individual into who they are, as in terms of actually like dealing with other people and other human beings and building relationships and whatnot. I just missed out on all that. You know, I don't bond with other human beings very well. I don't care about having friends. I don't care about, you know, having people over at my place. I don't have that need inside of myself that a lot of other people have, that, you know, they always have to have somebody with them. They always have to be in a relationship, or they always have to have homies, or, you know, people to hang out with. I'm just not one of those people. I'm fine sitting in my condo for 7, 8, 9, 10 days by myself and never seeing or speaking to another human being. I'm absolutely fine with that. I keep myself company, I keep myself busy, I have lots of projects. I have lots of projects I'm working on that keep me busy all day long. When I'm not busy working on projects, I swim in the pool, I play on the internet, I call friends from back home, I go out to the bar. And listen, living here in Thailand, you just make friends. I know 5 or 10 people right now in Thailand that I can call anytime I want to on any given day of the week, and I could go out and do some kind of activity. Okay, I can go to the bar, I can go ride go-karts, I can go golfing, I can go to the park, I can go work out, not by myself but with other people. All right, and living here in Southeast Asia, it's just one of those things. Like, if you're not a sociable person, like if you don't have social skills, then you just need to figure out a way to be all right with spending a lot of time alone, because that's just what it is. That's just the reality of life here in Southeast Asia. Now, a lot of guys come over here and they get a girlfriend right away. I'm not one of those guys, okay? That's a lie. That's a lie. I am one of those guys. I actually did come over here and I got a girlfriend immediately, and we lived together for like the first month or 2 that I was here. Probably like all of December and like the first week of January, that was pretty much over. You know, and so like as of January till now, I haven't had a girlfriend. But no, that is a lie. I did I did, because I still had the Western mindset before I came over here, that, you know, if you're not in a relationship, or you don't have a girlfriend, or you don't have somebody with you all the time, there's something wrong with you. And that's just not the case. That's honestly, it's just not the case. I mean, like I said, I spend just a tremendous amount of time by myself, and I have absolutely no problem with that at all. So I guess the point I'm trying to make tonight is, I don't get lonely. I don't get lonely here. I have lots of friends here to hang out with, and I actually prefer to be by myself for most of the time. And that's just from dealing with people my entire life, really not being able to build relationships, or just being able to, you know, stand another human being for any amount of time without getting completely fucking aggravated at all the little things they do. Yeah, like, I don't know, like I was hanging out with I was hanging out with one of my homies here, and just the way the dude drinks water just aggravated me to the point to where I just didn't want to talk to him anymore. Not you, Dustin, or my other homie here, not you guys. But this one guy I used to hang out with, just like, dude, every little thing he did, dude, just made my fucking skin want to jump off my bones and run down the street. And it's like, I've always been that with people. I've always been that way with people. Like, I can't be around certain people. Like, being around anybody for any given amount of time just aggravates the piss out of me, and I just don't want to be around them anymore. You know what I mean? So that just kind of makes me just do whatever I want to do, and that allows me to kind of just be by myself and not have to worry about always having another person with me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that's something that if you're going to come here, that's just something you're going to have to deal with. The second thing I want to talk about tonight is retirement. Listen, I don't come from financial literacy, okay? I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up around people who had money. Nobody I knew was like an entrepreneur, and nobody was talking about ROIs or investing in real estate or having a retirement or a 401k. In my opinion, if you're really lucky, you start in your 20s, okay? Somebody teaches you early on along the way that you have to start putting money up in small increments over the next 20 to 30 years in order to, you know, when you get to your golden age, your golden era, golden years, I believe they're called, when you get to your golden years, you'll have a nice little nest egg put aside, and you'll be able to live comfortably without having to worry about anything financially. You don't have to worry about being homeless or any of those things. Especially when you get older and you get sick, and anything can happen. Most people start in their 30s. They enter the workforce, and they soon figure out how expensive life really is. Those of us who had to do kind of manual labor growing up, the drywallers, your plumbers, your electricians, the trades guys, those are the hardest working people in America and on the planet, really, in any country, are the people who do manual labor. These people learn kind of in their 30s and in their 40s. The harder they have to work, the older they get, the more their body starts to hurt. If they're smart, they start thinking about retirement. Myself, I didn't start thinking about retirement until just recently. I'm 40 years old, and now I'm just kind of starting to think about it. Luckily, about 10 years ago, I put a little bit of money into the S&P, and I just let it ride. And I've kind of been able to live off the interest every year, little by little. It's not much money. Like, I didn't dump a whole lot of money, and I'm not going to tell you fuckers how much money I got in the S&P, but I dumped a decent amount of money in the S&P, and once or twice a year I can pull a little bit of money out and use it for emergencies or living expenses. Now, if I continue to do this over the next 10 years, I should have a decent little nest egg that, assuming the whole thing over there and you guys over there in the US, it all doesn't go tits up. You know what I mean? And everything doesn't run to zero. I don't think that's going to happen in my lifetime. There's definitely going to be some fluctuations, but I think the S&P is a safe bet for my money. You can't put all of your eggs in one basket, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's had me thinking a lot lately about, just saving for the future. I'm 40 years old right now, and when I turn 50, I want to have enough money that I don't have to worry about things, for the next 30 or 40 years. Because honestly, I think I may make it to 80, I may make it to 85. I don't necessarily eat the healthiest, but I don't do a whole lot of things that are bad for my health either. And it's honestly, it's my belief that a lot of the things that happen to people are genetic. The types of cancers you get, your hair falling out, your body type, all of your decisions, it's all genetic. And I don't have any of those kinds of things in my family. Everybody in my family that passed away, they died because of their own stupidity, or they're just old. That is what it is. So I don't really feel like I'm gonna, catch leukemia or any kind of weird cancers or anything like that, because it's just not genetically, it doesn't run in my family. Not saying that isn't gonna happen, obviously, because all the chemicals and everything else. I'm just saying I'm not genetically predispositioned to anything down the line in my lineage. With that being said, I definitely need to, start a business right now, which I'm already working on. I've got, 2 or 3 things in the works. Unfortunately, I have to be extremely careful about what I say now on here, because there are, how should I say, there's a lot of saboteurs out there in the crowd that would just love to derail anything good that I have going for myself. So listen, I would love to get on here and share my life with you guys, but honestly, there's just so much I can't tell you, because there are people out there that don't want to see me do well. Sorry, all the idiots had to ruin it for everybody else. I guess when these things come to fruition and I start making, giant leaps and strides, and you guys will start noticing, it's like one of those things where people are like, what's that meme that goes, I won't tell everyone I'm rich, but there'll be signs, kind of ordeal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to announce my success and all of my plans to everybody, but you'll notice. You'll notice when things start going really well for me. Yeah, so it's just you have to think about retirement, and living here in Southeast Asia, it's just a lot easier to retire than it is in the West. If you have some kind of pension, some kind of salary from the West, retirement here in Southeast Asia is half of, I'm gonna go ahead and say 50% of what it'll cost in the West. Average rent in the West is like $1,900 for a 1-bedroom apartment in a shitty neighborhood. When I'm 80 years old, there's no way I'm gonna be able to afford $2,000 a month in rent, unless unless some things work out for me on the other end, which, you know, I don't know. And listen, who knows what inflation is going to be in the next 20, 30 years? Who knows where the global economy is going to be in the next 20, 30 years? I mean, listen, with automation and AI and all of the other, you know, advancements going on, nobody knows really what the future is going to hold. So the only thing I can do is hedge my bet and try and save as much money as I possibly can right now and set up a few things right now that are going to pay off 10 or 15 years from now. Because now I have, now from living here in Southeast Asia, I have the luxury of being able to think about the future. Because that's something I've never been able to do before. I've been living my life in survival mode, I guess, if you will. I've been living my life in survival mode pretty much all the way up until this point, and now, like, life is so easy here in Thailand. Like, I wake up every day and I don't have to worry about how my rent's getting paid, or how I'm gonna eat that day, or how I'm gonna pay my phone bill. You know what I mean? Like, those worries, those issues, everybody in America, everybody in the West, that's just something that is part of your daily thought process. It's something that you have to wake up every day and you have to work on, and you have to focus on that, or else you're gonna be homeless and starving to death. Here, I don't really have to think about those things. Those things are, you know, I'm not gonna say free, obviously, because they're not, but it's just like, water's pretty much free here. I mean, it's like, what, 10 cents, 15 cents for a bottle of water at the store? Like, it's ridiculous. So our money goes so fucking far over here. This is, and listen, I know that 10 years from now, all of this is gonna change. You know what I mean? Like, I think right now, well, 20 years ago was like the sweet spot. I think right now is actually the time to get in, and because in the next decade or in the next 10 years, I think things are going to be completely different. Obviously, there's going to be some inflation, and you know, your money just isn't going to go as far as you want it to go, or not even as far as it'll go right now. So I guess what I'm trying to say is retirement, thinking about the future, planting a seed right now that, you know, when the plant grows 10 years from now, I'll be able to pick the fruit and eat from the tree. And you know, that's the best advice I can give anybody. Do what you got to do, plan for the future, find a place to live where your money works for you. At least that's my plan, and that's what I'm trying to do here in Thailand. Now, am I going to stay here in Thailand forever? Who knows? I might end up in Vietnam, I might end up in Philippines, I might end up in Cambodia. I don't know. What I do know is, unless something tragic happens to me, God forbid, I'm not gonna fucking lose. I guess these are just a couple of things that I've had on my mind lately. Not so much the loneliness. I wanted to get to the loneliness because, you know, it's something that a lot of people deal with when they get over here, but the retirement is really something I've been thinking about lately, and I just want to get on here today and kind of run my mouth about it. So thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing, and oh, if you're still here, okay, go and check out my Shopify. I got some new t-shirt designs up. I try to put 2 or 3 new t-shirt designs up every week. So go check out my Shopify, buy a couple t-shirts, I'd appreciate it. That's gonna about do it for this one. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.